Ever wonder why some men are impossible to forget? Not because they're the richest or the most charming, but because they leave a mark. A psychological imprint that keeps a woman replaying every moment, every look, every pause, every unanswered text. See, it's not about chasing, it's about pulling, not with effort, but with energy. Most guys overgive, overshare, and overexplain, and then wonder why she's bored. But the men she obsesses over? They're different. They know how to hold back. They know the power of mystery, tension, and unpredictability. In this series, you'll learn exactly how to become that man, the one who captivates her mind without ever begging for her time. It's not manipulation. It's not game. It's emotional control. And once you master it, she won't just want you. She'll feel like she needs you. Let's begin. Point 1. Why she can't stop thinking about you. Let's talk about something most men never figure out. How to become the man a woman can't stop thinking about. Not for a night, not for a week. I'm talking about the kind of presence that lingers in her mind, quietly taking up space until she realizes that no one else even compares. Now here's the truth. Most guys blow it before anything real can even start. They show too much interest, give too much approval, try way too hard to impress. And what happens? She loses that edge of curiosity. That mystery dies. The emotional tension disappears. And just like that, he's forgettable. But if you want to be unforgettable, if you want her invested, emotionally, mentally, physically, it's all about how you carry yourself. Women aren't obsessed with what's obvious. They're drawn to the unknown, to the man who doesn't hand himself over too easily, who doesn't need her validation, but somehow still captivates her without even trying. You've got to become the guy she thinks she's figuring out, but never quite can. When you talk to her, you're warm but unreadable, present but never too available. She should feel like your attention is earned, not guaranteed. That energy makes her curious. That curiosity creates attraction, and that attraction builds the kind of pull that keeps her coming back, even when you're not chasing her. The biggest mistake men make is trying to prove they're good enough. But the truth is, when you're really grounded in yourself, there's nothing to prove. Your time is valuable. Your presence means something. You don't need to announce it. It's felt. She picks up on it instantly. It shows in your pauses, in your eye contact, in the way you're completely calm whether she stays or walks away. Because either way, you're still you. And when she senses that emotional stability, that unshakable energy, it does something to her. She'll start overthinking the smallest things. Why didn't he text first? Did I say something wrong? Does he even like me? And instead of you chasing her, now she's the one looking for clues. She's replaying your words, checking her phone, wanting more. But here's the thing, it only works if you're genuinely detached from the outcome. If you still secretly crave her validation, she'll feel it. She'll sense the mask. But if you're authentic, if you're living in your own lane, focused on your path, and inviting her along instead of begging her in, that is magnetic. Now, when you do spend time with her, don't try to be perfect. Don't try to win her over. Be present, but don't center everything around her. Let the moment be casual, even a bit unpolished. Let her feel like she's still trying to figure you out. That slight emotional imbalance is what builds tension, and tension, not comfort, is what creates desire. If things get physical, don't change your tone. Stay calm. Don't chase a label. Let the connection speak for itself. Because here's what women don't admit. They're far more intrigued by a man who doesn't instantly want to lock things down. A man who enjoys her presence but isn't dependent on it. That subtle unpredictability, that's what makes her want more. That's what keeps her wondering, what is it about this guy? And the beauty of it all. You don't need to manipulate. You don't need to lie. You just need to stop overgiving. You need to let her earn access to you, just like you're evaluating her. And if she senses that she has to work just a little to keep your interest, she'll try harder. She'll invest more. She'll lean in, even when she doesn't fully understand why. Because in the end, it's not about being the hottest guy, the richest guy, or the most romantic guy. It's about being the most emotionally in control. The man who's not trying to be chosen because he knows he's already worth choosing. That's the kind of man she obsesses over. Point 2. Why withholding beats impressing every time. Most men are taught to prove their worth by leading, providing, and protecting, believing that showing strength will earn them admiration. But what if I told you that giving all that upfront is the fastest way to lose her interest? See, attraction isn't built on what you give, it's built on what you withhold, not from ego, but from intention. The key is to make her earn access to your softer sides, your time, your attention, even your affection, especially early on. Because love, at its core, is not symmetrical. It's rarely mutual from the beginning. It's a game of emotional leverage, and whether people like to admit it or not, women chase what they can't fully grasp. They don't invest deeply into what's handed to them on a silver plate. So the moment you meet her, on that first date or interaction, you must flip the usual dynamic. Instead of trying to impress her, observe her. Instead of proving yourself, qualify her. Make it clear, subtly, that your attention isn't free. That connection with you is something she needs to earn. This isn't arrogance, it's self-respect. It's what makes her lean in. And here's what usually happens next. She'll be confused, maybe a little annoyed. She might say things like, "That was the shortest date I've ever been on," or "Did I say something wrong?" Don't panic, this is gold. This is the emotional tension most guys never create, because now she's in a reactive state, thinking, analyzing, replaying. And when someone is emotionally reactive, they're emotionally invested. Some women might hold back and avoid reaching out, especially the ones used to being pursued. But that's fine. You stay calm, measured, and scarce. Over time, you initiate light, subtle contact, but you keep things unpredictable. You stir tension. You introduce contrast, not arguments for the sake of drama, but playful defiance that shakes her emotional expectations. You might tease her, respond with casual phrases like, "Typical of you," or "Don't give me that." These aren't just empty lines, they create polarity. You're no longer the guy trying to please her, you're the man who challenges her, emotionally, playfully, respectfully. That challenge is what draws her in. Why does it work? Because women argue with men they're emotionally involved with, not strangers, not guys they don't care about. If she's debating, defending, or even disagreeing, she's hooked. She wants to influence how you see her. She wants to shift your view, and to do that she has to invest, emotionally, mentally. That's attraction, real, raw, not just surface level flattery. At this point, you become a puzzle, not toxic, not manipulative, just unavailable enough that she has to lean forward. And here's where it goes deeper. Some women aren't drawn to the perfect man. They're drawn to the one who feels unfinished, the one who shows promise but isn't trying to prove anything. The man who seems a little rough around the edges, not because he's broken, but because he's real. When she sees that, it activates something in her, a desire to understand, to fix, to nurture. She imagines you as potential, like raw land that could be developed into something incredible, and in her mind, she's the one who could unlock that transformation. This isn't about faking flaws, it's about showing that you're not chasing approval, that you live by your standards, and she's either compatible or she's not. Ironically, the more you hold that line, the more she tries to cross it, because now you're not just a man, you're a mission, and women don't forget the ones who make them feel something real. So forget perfection, forget proving your worth, become the man who values himself so deeply that a woman has to rise to your level to earn a seat at the table. That's what makes her obsess. That's what makes her choose you again and again. Point 3. How subtle uncertainty keeps you on her mind. Sometimes we reflect on our actions and wonder, why did I do that? And in those moments, it's tempting to place the blame elsewhere, even if we know deep down that it was our choice. The irony? I actually learned this pattern from watching women. See, when a woman emotionally exits a relationship, or even cheats, she often justifies it not with malice, but with narrative. She might say he wasn't present enough, he didn't listen, or he didn't appreciate her. Whether or not it's true doesn't matter. What matters is the story. She reframes the situation so she doesn't feel guilty. She convinces herself, and sometimes even him, that it was his fault. And that's when I realized storytelling is power. So I began creating my own narrative, not for manipulation, but for influence. I wanted to embed something in her mind, something subtle, almost invisible, a kind of emotional hook, something like this. He didn't seem that into me at first, but then we kept talking, kept seeing each other, and slowly I won him over. Now, I think he kind of likes me, I think. Notice that last part. I think. Not, I know. Not, he's crazy about me. Just, I think he might. That tiny bit of doubt is the open loop that keeps her coming back. It's the uncertainty that makes her lean in. Here's what most men never understand. When a woman genuinely likes a man, truly feels something, she'll tolerate more than you'd expect. Not because she's weak, quite the opposite. Women are emotionally resilient, often far more than we give them credit for. They're not delicate little flowers who need to be protected from every hard truth. They're tuned in, emotionally strong, and often drawn to intensity, even chaos, if it makes them feel. That's why, sometimes, the guy who's perfect on paper, kind, available, predictable, doesn't stand a chance. Not because he's doing anything wrong, but because he's not stirring her emotional waters. He's not creating that tension, that story. See, when everything is smooth, stable, and planned, it starts to feel flat. She doesn't feel the highs and lows. She doesn't feel like she's earning your affection. And without that challenge, her emotional investment fades. Now, this isn't about disrespect or withholding love. This is about understanding emotional reality. People crave uncertainty when it's paired with meaning. When the emotional terrain feels like a movie, with unpredictability, drama, desire, confusion, they get hooked. And yes, even the most composed woman can become absorbed in that story. It's why, even after intimacy, you stay calm. No declarations, no labels, no expectations. You don't chase, you don't over-communicate, you don't fill in every silence with reassurance, and slowly, something strange happens. She starts chasing the connection. She starts texting first. She's the one asking, when can I see you again? Even when she's right there in front of you. She starts building the future in her head while still living in the moment with you. Because now, you're the narrative. You're the uncertainty. You're the puzzle she wants to solve. Most men were taught to avoid this. They were told to be nice, be consistent, be available. But let's be honest, being available too soon doesn't create desire, it creates comfort. And comfort without mystery gets boring. This entire approach, it's not about manipulation, it's reflection. Most of this is what women already do naturally. When she's vague with plans, nonchalant about messages, or emotionally hot and cold, she's leveraging uncertainty. She's increasing her perceived value by reducing her availability. Ever notice how a woman might act like she forgot the plans you set up? Or reply casually after hours of silence with a little emoji and no explanation? That's not clumsiness, that's strategy. Whether she knows it consciously or not, she's building emotional tension. She's creating contrast. She's playing the game. So what happens when you start using the same tools? Calm detachment, strategic indifference, subtle unpredictability. Most can't handle it, because now they're on the receiving end of their own emotional tactics. And if you do it right, with composure and self-respect, you become the one they can't stop thinking about. You become their favorite movie, playing on a loop in their mind. The takeaway? High value isn't about proving yourself. It's about knowing you don't have to. It's about giving her just enough to spark interest, but never too much to satisfy the curiosity. Let her earn the next page. Let her wonder what's coming, because the minute you become predictable, you stop being the story she wants to keep reading.